I actually got off the ship at 8:30 and did a runner. Mind you, I did sit in the pub for a couple of hours while I waited for my train. That's one thing I hate about the trains. You can't change your ticket. Once you've bought a ticket, you can't change it. The earlier train, although it was cheaper, because I was buying it there and then straight away, they couldn't change my ticket. So I had to sit there I had to sit there till 3 o'clock, basically, from 8:30 until 3 o'clock. So I went over to the local Wetherspoons and had a pizza and had a few beers while I waited. Why not? Well earned, I thought. Anyway, what a trip it was. When we left Falmouth, it seems like months ago now, looking back at it. When we left Falmouth, we left into some horrendous, spiteful weather. And we were rolling, pitching, absolutely horrendous. We went back into to Falmouth to do a crew change and to demob and mob up for a different survey. It was only while we were in port that we actually got any rest. We went back out into this horrendous weather, so much so it actually broke part of the ship's equipment. One of these pins that holds a giant pulley block on those, you see my boat, the yellow towers. It pulls up the net, or pulls the net along the seabed or wherever it is it's fishing, and these things hold a tremendous weight. Anyway, the weather broke one of these pins off. Yeah, a hell of a lot of force required to do that. Anyway, but I've never eaten so many never eaten so many seasick tablets. When I say seasick, I mean anti-seasick tablets. You don't eat seasick tablets. You don't want to be sick, do you? Anyway, yeah. So these anti-seasick tablets were going down like no one's business. And of course, when we went into repairs, we managed to get a member of staff come down to the ship, an office worker, who was carrying the plague. And half the engineering department all came down with this sore throat, chesty cough, headaches, fevers. I was terrible. My fever broke one evening while I was on watch. Between 12 o'clock and 8 a.m. I was on watch, and I just had to sit down for an hour. I was just absolutely exhausted. The weather was getting me down, and this cold that this guy had brought on board was just absolutely terrible. Anyway, my fever broke that night, so I started to feel a bit better after that. So that was a good thing. Anyway, yes, it was. I do like to get outside with my camera, but the weather was so rough and so bad, I couldn't actually get outside. What with it being winter time and dark in the evenings and dark in the mornings, I couldn't really do much during my off time. Did a little bit in the emergency generator room, as you saw. But yeah, it's nice to be back. Still, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm still buoyed up by the stress of the voyage. So, in a day or two, when that stress suddenly subsides a bit, then the tiredness will hit me, and as you do. I think anyone that works in a situation like I do, where it's a highly stressful environment, you tend to live on stress, so that keeps you going, and then once the thing that's driving the stress disappears, then you calm down, and it's just your tiredness takes over. I know I was up at 5:30 on Monday morning to do my duties, but I didn't get to bed until gone at 11:30, 12 o'clock. We had a fire alarm at 1:30. Then I got up at 5:30 to do my engine room rounds before starting the day at 8 o'clock, which consisted of really just doing my quick handover to my relief, who turned up a day early. Oh, so funny. Anyway, I did quick handover and left. But yeah, give it a couple of days, and things will start to go back to normal in my home life. I say, looking at the garden, it's a bit overgrown and wild and woolly, but we've got some nice flowers out, so I might be able to do a little bit of macro photography with these flowers in the garden, mainly daffodils, not daffodils. What are they? Dandelions. I do like dandelions; rather nice colour, but they are a bit of a menace, aren't they, in the garden? Anyway, that's beside the point. Yeah, so things are looking a bit bad. I need to get in and start chopping back things, really, and looking at my carnivorous plants looking a bit worse for wear. I need to get in there and sort them out. Make sure they get a good watering. But yeah, we've got some plants down there in the pot. It's these alliums, so we'll get that. They'll be they're setting up a flower shoot shortly, so that'll be nice. And I see we've got some forget-me-nots growing in a tub, self-seeded. I don't know where the seed come from. Obviously, bird dropped it somewhere. But yeah, self-seeded in our garden, which is quite nice. What else have we got down there? Oh yeah, lots of other little things growing in the garden. Yeah. So anyway, it's good to be back, and it's good to see you. And hopefully, by the time I get round to editing this and putting up live, my new intro will be ready. Yeah, it's they're not too bad. It's from America, but it costs $6 for an intro, and you can edit it and modify it to your own needs, and just download it download it to my iPad, and then stitch it together with these programs that I've been telling you about. These video joiner and trimmer, which was free, by the way. It really is. It does come together, brings the videos together. I think having a little intro. Yeah, just wish they could be a bit shorter. But yeah, I'm beginning to find the apps on the Apple Store that are free and that enable me to do some proper editing, color grading, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm trying to find a program that will allow me to do what they call focus stacking, because I want to take some macro shots of these, basically the fish on board the boat and the insects and stuff and flowers in the garden. This is a lot of these. You see these macro shots of flowers and insects and stuff. They're actually what they call focus stacked. If you're interested, this is where they take a photograph of one section of photos where it's in focus, but the image behind is out of focus. So they then take another photo of the image that is behind, but is now in focus. So the image in front is out of focus and the image behind is still out of focus. And then they take another shot of the back image that is now in focus, and the front two images are out of focus, or parts of the photograph are out of focus. And then they join them all together and you get what looks like one picture of the whole insect in focus. And it's really quite complicated. But that's another side of photographs. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to be doing, playing around with the cameras a lot, getting out on the bike as well. I must get out on the bike. It's the weather here it's actually really quite warm. Although it's chilly out of the sun, if I was going into the shade over there, it would be quite chilly. So, but sat here in the sun, it's really quite warm. Enjoying my drink. Yeah, I've got a glass of fizzy pop just down there, just out of reach at the moment. So I'll get it in a minute. Yeah, so that's it. That's what I plan to do. Get out on the bike. Oh yeah, I've got a medical to do as well. I don't know if you've looked online what's happening with the seafarers, the fishermen. Our fishermen now have to get medicals for the first time ever. They've had to get these what they call an ENG1 medical, and they're focusing on this rather outdated method of determining fitness. Well, that's your BMI. It's you can be the muscliest man in the world and still have a very high BMI, and of course the doctors will turn around and say, oh well, he's unfit, but you could be an Olympic runner, or a javelin or a weightlifter and have a high BMI, right? and still be able to beat the pants off these doctors. But you know, that's the way things go. It's just this method of measuring fitness. My BMI is 31 point something or other, so that was what I measured it at this morning. So I think to undergo a medical, you've got to have a BMI of under 30 or do a fitness test. So we'll see if I've got to do a fitness test. I'll try and lose a bit more weight before my medical's due. So I've got just over 2 weeks to lose. I could lose a couple of kilos in 2 weeks. That'll bring my BMI down, won't it? So hopefully come down below that magic 31. Yeah, so we'll see. Anyway, so that's it then. Photographs, taking the dog out for a walk. I know one of my followers who won't be named, but she brings joy to my life. Anyway, yes, so the dog will be in it. We'll get out, do some dog walking. Sarah's off on Friday, but it looks like it's going to be raining, so hopefully the weather will improve come Friday, and we might be able to go out somewhere and take some nice pictures with the dog. And of course there's fossil hunting as well. Now that I know where the fossils are in this area, there's like I say, Mappleton on that East Riding coast, and then going to go all the way further north, maybe go to Filey. One of the guys off the ship was from Filey, actually, so I might go to Filey. There's some fossil hunting places there, so we'll go and see. It's not too far of a drive out, but we'll see. Anyway, so that's about it then. I've rambled on for, it says here 12 minutes and 15 seconds, so yeah, I'll see you all on the next one. Bye then. Ciao.